Hey YouTubes, it's Super Effective here. Build 250 brought a massive change to the game and how it plays and feels. Many people, including myself, have been shocked at some of the changes, but is it for the better or for the worst? For this video, I'm going to show some gameplay of my first 4 games as commander and on the ground for each side, while reviewing and commenting on all of the changes. While there are a lot of smaller tweaks, the focus of this video is to quickly summarize the biggest game changers, share my thoughts, and how they may impact your play. So there are a couple tweaks to the resource system. Players will receive resources a bit slower, but will continue to receive them regardless if they are dead or alive. Previously, you did not receive any if you were dead, so I think this is probably a good change as it won't punish a team that is getting killed a lot. A team can gain half a resource point per tick with no extractors or harvesters up, which might give a team a fighting chance in that situation. Players respawning as a result of rejoining a team, suiciding, or getting killed by the environment will be able to spawn faster than normal. Marine weapons have had their roles emphasized with this latest change, allowing for a more dynamic play. Shotguns shoot a little bit faster, but do less damage against structures, emphasizing its role as an alien lifeform killer. Flamethrowers and grenade launchers are not affected by weapon upgrades, but have been buffed in their respective ways. For example, flamethrowers can be used to remove bile effects from structures, and do more damage and hold more ammo, allowing it to be a special support-like weapon. And the grenade launcher holds more ammo, is less expensive to purchase, and will do more direct damage. In addition, the grenade cannot be hit back from the whip, making it ideal for destroying alien structures. These changes were obviously made to incentivize these weapons to be used more, making them a viable strategy earlier in the game, whereas before they were too expensive and had specific uses. I'm interested how teams will use them. Most importantly, the welder is cheaper and available right away once the armory is constructed, so you need to start buying welders more often, as it is the only way, other than a Mac repairing you or respawning, to regain your Marine's armor. It also encourages teamwork. The Exosuits had their overall armor reduced, but each increment of armor upgrade got increased a little bit, making each upgrade a decent improvement. While they did lose some fortitude, they did gain a nifty thruster ability to help them get around. You can press the shift key to slide in a forward direction only. The medpacks cooldown was removed from the commander, however, each individual marine has a cooldown before they can pick up another one. I think this was a smart decision because in the last build, the commander was crippled on how much healing output he could do. This way, he can keep a group of marines healed, but only so fast. The Marine Commander can now research the Nano Shield ability at one command chair, giving him a short defense in a pinch. He also has a nifty ability called Power Surge, which is available upon constructing a robotics factory. Power Surge allows the Marine Commander to power a single structure for 20 seconds. This ability is very valuable as a power-disabled observatory can be powered just long enough for a recall to be performed, or for an unpowered phase gate to be made operational. Some marine structures got a bit cheaper, and some of the research has been streamlined. For example, the armory already has welders researched and costs less, and upgrading to an advanced armory automatically gives the marines access to flamethrowers and grenade launchers. The prototype lab can now be built with only one command chair and allows a single arm exos and jetpacks to be researched, allowing these cheaper but deadly options to be available sooner. All marine structures can be built on infestation now, but will slowly take damage until the infestation is cleared. This allows for marines to set up remote bases deep in enemy territory. Keep in mind that phase gates are a bit weaker now, so be sure to reinforce those locations fast. Max can no longer attack, and they lost their EMP ability. And arcs can be built faster and are less expensive to purchase at the cost of moving slower. The arc will move even slower if they are attacked or if they move onto infestation. So if you are a commander, it makes a bit more sense to have a factory nearby instead of training them across the map. Aliens probably received the biggest overhaul for this build. I believe the changes made were to make the alien commander spend more resources and to manage more things. While some may dislike the changes, I think these changes make the Alien Commander more fun and engaging. Biomass is a new addition to the game. Try not to get too confused about it. It basically forces the alien commander to spend extra resources to unlock abilities to be researched. You can view the biomass level at the top left part of your screen as a commander, and on the map screen if you're on the ground. You don't need to research an ability before proceeding to the next, so you can skip undesirable abilities, but you still need to reach that biomass level before you can start the research of the ability you want. So for example, if you wanted to get Stomp for your Onos players, you cannot start the research right when you complete the third hive. You first need to get that third hive's biomass level to its max to reach biomass level 9. Or, let's say you're trying to get Leap, which is biomass level 4. So, you build a second hive, but forgot to purchase any biomass upgrades per hive. This effectively puts you at biomass level 2 out of a potential of 6. You will need to purchase any 2 out of the 4 remaining biomass upgrades from either of your hives in order to reach biomass level 4. All alien ability upgrade research have been moved from the hive to the support structures. So Crag can research Umbra, Biobomb, and Stomp. Shift has Leap, Gorge Tunnels, and Xenocide. And finally, Shade has Shadow Step, Vortex, and Spores. Now because of the biomass system, it does not matter if the Crag, Shift, or Shade that did the research is killed, because the ability will not be lost, just so long as you completed the research. But you will lose the ability if you lose a hive as a result of the lost biomass. Cysts now require construction before their infestation will spread, but you can still place cyst chains as before, and in a larger range. The cysts will auto-build once their parent cyst is constructed. Only gorges can help build cysts, even if the parent cyst is not constructed, allowing the commander to drop remote bases quickly while the auto-building cyst chain catches up. Infestation recedes twice as fast as it takes to grow and prevent additional cysts from being built on the old location for a couple seconds. Whips are cheaper and automatically get their bombard ability once they mature. The bombard ability has a larger splash range at a reduced damage. As I've mentioned before, they can no longer reflect grenades. In addition to whips, the Crag, Shift, and Shades can now walk, allowing them to redeploy their usefulness to the front line, simply by selecting them and right-clicking where you want them to go. Whips will automatically root back into the ground when they stop. They root much faster than before, but they still require to be on infestation to root. Eggs and harvesters can now be echoed. For those of you who have never used Echo, it's basically a teleport ability that the Shift uses on a friendly alien structure and moves it to another valid location, allowing for quick redeployment. The change logs state that the Gorge Tunnels can be echoed as well, but I have tested this in Explore mode, and I have not been able to get the Shift to target the Gorge Tunnel. A shame really, as this would be an awesome strategy. I suspect it will be fixed soon. Finally, Crags, Shifts, and Shades no longer need specific hives to be built, allowing for more variation and flexibility. The Drifter got a lot more interesting now. It cannot attack anymore and is no longer stealth. It serves as a construction and support caster unit. It can be built instantly while research is going on at the hive, but it has a few second cooldown before building another. The Drifter is critical for alien expansion, as structures now auto-build at only 70% efficiency. Having a Gorge or a Drifter can bring that back up to 100%. With all the cysts and structures needed building, they will be very busy. Depending on the hives that you have upgraded, it can unlock up to 3 abilities that are all target area abilities. For a Shift hive, it can unlock Storm, which will boost the movement speed of friendly aliens. For Crag hive, it unlocks Mucus Membrane, which repairs armor of alien players. And finally, for a Shade hive, it creates controllable hallucinations of each alien player. I think this is a fun and interesting change, as it requires a bit more micromanaging, and it doesn't allow for invisible scouts to be sitting all over the place. Hives have the ability to spawn 2 extra eggs now, not the Shift, and can only spawn up to 3 per hive slowly, but can spawn up to 6 per hive faster if the team has 12 or more players. Alien commanders now have the ability to cast Rupture, which once placed on infestation will spawn a bubble that builds up and eventually explodes, blinding any Marines that are looking in its direction. Both commanders have 200 command points located at the top of the screen. Each structure and unit you purchase will take up some of this limit, making you think about what kind of attack you need to deploy and where you need things. When I was commanding as Marines, I needed to shift some of my phase gates to free up some of the command limit to get them into forward positions. This also prevents the dominating team from making a massive impenetrable defense. It may also help with server performance by limiting the amount of entities on the field. All alien melee attacks no longer have glancing blows. The attack will do maximum damage on a valid hit. Skulk's Xenocide ability cannot be cancelled anymore and will respawn the player faster. Gorges can now build faster, and their Hydras can be set on fire by a flamethrower. Lurk's Umbra ability is available at 2 hives and its potency reduced a bit, and Spores researchable at biomass level 6 with less energy consumption. This should encourage Lurks to play a strong supportive role mid-game while being able to adapt to an offensive role late game. Fade's swipe damage has been reduced a bit and they lose their ability to double jump, but they start with Blink, and the Shadow Step ability has been moved to biomass level 5. I'd like to know the reasoning for this change, as Shadow Step seems like a downgrade, but I've been told that Shadow Step is more energy efficient, but it doesn't add momentum anymore. Onoses won't be blocked by other alien players, and Stomp affects Marines in a radius around the Onos instead of a shockwave. All alien passive upgrades from Veils, Spurs, and Shells are automatically available when the respective structure is built. However, the potency of the passive upgrade is only at 1/3 of its maximum potential, so you will need to build 3 of each kind to get them back to full strength. This setup is how it was in the original natural selection, so it is interesting to see it brought back. Silence and Camouflage have been merged into what is called Phantom, which I think is very powerful. This change is probably made to make Phantom as desirable as the other passives. I'm excited to see it being used more often as a first choice passive upgrade. Keep in mind that Camouflage players are still slightly visible, so keep your movement speed into consideration. A new ability called Aura has been added so aliens can see nearby Marines through walls, and also see a colored icon to show Marines' health. This could be used to help prioritize targets and make smarter decisions. This ability is a throwback to the original natural selection called Scent of Fear. And finally, Regeneration and Celerity also work during combat, and Celerity has had its speed increased. The speed is noticeable, especially out of Skulk, when it begins making different noises when jumping. Alien players can now switch their passive abilities by clicking on the slot to unequip their current ability and selecting a new one. This will take a few seconds to gestate. The movement changes is probably the most controversial part of Build 250. Almost all of the players' movement is changed as there's less air friction. Players have had mixed responses to this change as everyone has gotten used to having momentum that felt precise and rigid. For example, if I was attacking a phase gate and I tapped a movement key to adjust my position, I could get in the exact spot I felt most comfortable with. But now, I feel like I take larger and more floaty steps, often making me step too close or too far away from the phase gate. The sensation is weird, and I, like most people, will probably need to get used to it again. I remain open-minded to the change as it introduces speed bonuses to Skulks who run on walls and ceilings, and reinforces skilled wall jumping. I may have to do another wall jumping tutorial for the Skulks, but in the Skulk gameplay in this video, I pull it off a few times indicated by a slight growling and panting noise. In conclusion, if you think about the big picture, many games that are made by these big-time publishers reserve large gameplay changes such as this for sequels and spin-offs, which players may not get the chance to experience without going to an expo or paying a $60 premium just to find out you didn't like the way it plays. UWE at least implemented the balance test mod, which was supported by player feedback at no cost to you. UWE's intention is to make the NS2 a game to be played in the competitive leagues, and it only makes sense that they are steering this direction on the notion that those changes were influenced by current NS2 competitive players. Don't forget that NS2 is moddable, and if so many players desired the game to be back to how it was in previous builds, someone could make a mod for that to appeal to those kinds of players. The gaming industry would normally have content updates that come in the form of a paid DLC, but NS2's content updates remain free. For those who are turned off by these changes or feel that UWE ruined the game for them, take a moment to think about the team developing this game, who had their humble beginnings as a mod team, growing the original natural selection with many tweaks and changes, versus these AAA titles that get released with massive game-breaking bugs and balance issues that don't get fixed for a long time and offer no means for the community to take it into their own hands. Well, that's all I have to share for Build 250. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Build 250 and what you think where the game will go. UWE, unlike most companies, will at least be willing to hear you out. I'll put the full changelog in the description below, and until next time, see you on the next respawn.
Don't panic. I got it.
I killed it! Tear down!
Yes. Good job. Third hive's almost up.
Doesn't matter.
That's my house.
No, it doesn't.
So you're not getting it.
Good game, everybody.